there was the Terra League 2 that took place this week with Pokemon, or like the end of last week or whatever. So I want to start off the whole segment and the clip of the video with, you can pretty much go ahead and take everything from this as factual, because everything got copyright struck by Nintendo with receipts that it was Nintendo that was breaching it. But also take everything with a grain of salt, that everything that we're going to talk about, shout out, or whatever, may not be what the final product is, because this is like a little bit older, right? Things change.
It's concept stuff.
Exactly. But it's all factual. This is all legit, because like everything got copyright struck with receipts of it being all copyright struck. I want to save the Gen 10 stuff for last, and I want to run through everything else first. So I guess for starters, let's start with some other info, random stuff. Gen 11 projected for 2030. There will apparently be no Unova remakes in Gen 10. Apparently, after Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, the decision was made internally to make sure that remakes were properly taken care of going forward. Breaks my heart that Sinnoh had to be the one to fall on the sword for that. But at least remakes will get better love. Yeah, because BDSP was crap. I've still yet to finish them. I don't care to finish them. So at least when the time comes and Unova does get a remake, hopefully it's going to be what we've been wanting, where it's black and white 1 and 2 all in one, because that's what it needs to be up front. They're sequels. That's what needs to happen. Apparently, Gigantamax Nidoking was scrapped, and probably Nidoqueen as well, because apparently the original Sword and Shield titles were King and Queen, was something that was toyed with. Legends and new gen games, something we talked about quite a bit just earlier with Pokemon Legends and just the new gens. Apparently, Legends is targeted at gamers digging deeper into action, worldview, and history, while new gen games are about the expansion of the franchise, targeting new players and long-term fans. So to circle back to the ZA talk conversation with the battle format that you're not a fan of, as long as that's the first iteration and they grow on it,
yeah,
it's fine.
But that's what I'm having to view it as. It's
yes.
like as long as the next one is a better version of what this is, I'm fine.
Yeah, no, big agree. I thought this was really interesting. Apparently, Junichi Masada, who is, of course, one of the goats of Pokemon and was the creative director of basically everything up to Kalos. Apparently, he got banned from directing any future Pokemon games. That's why he hasn't been directing them since Gen 7, and apparently will not. According to all the internal documents, there was a very massive argument that took place during the Kalos development that had him banned from being any future directing. And if I'm going to have to take a ballpark guess here, because as you as a Kalos fan can agree, Kalos is the most shafted generation.
It's an unfinished game.
I am willing to bet you anything the argument was Musada wanted to make sure Z happened, and the Pokemon Company said, no, we have to move on to Gen 7, because obviously that Gen 7 caught us all by surprise, and the Sun and Moon base games had like a bullshit Zygarde side quest that was clearly supposed to be Z.
Yeah, the Kalos region is an unfinished region.
Facts.
It's never gotten its conclusion.
Facts. There is a literal section of X and Y you can go like see with the power plant with text like, oh, you can't go there. That was clearly supposed to be like where a legendary was going to be. I think it's supposed to be Volcanion is where he was going to be at. Yeah. So I bet you anything this so-called argument was about Z versus Sun and Moon. I'm willing to bet you anything that's what it was.
Yeah, and good thing we moved on and got Sun and Moon at the time we did.
Yeah, shit, I know, right? The games that should just got pushed off to the Switch, they ran like crap. Alola is an awesome region. A lot of great Pokemon, but the games run terrible. The games run terrible.
You know how the other thing is? We couldn't get Z. It's like generations 1 through 6 are great. Generation 7, kind of ass.
See, I enjoy it if it ran better. I enjoy Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon if it ran better.
You're coming up to the point I was about to make. We can't get Z, but we get a half-cooked Sun and Moon. That's true. That then we get a re-release of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to finish those games too.
Correct. Yeah. Sun and Moon could have just flat out been put off, done Z, and then done just Sun and Moon, which would have been Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and would have been fine.
They said we can't do that for Kalos, but we're going to do that exact same thing that we told you we can't do for the next generation.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And then I did kind of mention this earlier. Apparently, Scarlet Violet DLC ended up costing as much as Legends Arceus due to Scarlet and Violet not actually being designed with DLC in mind, which is kind of crazy considering how well Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra was for them. And there was apparently a bug that caused massive issues, and all Pokemon games going forward are being designed with DLC in mind. So, okay, whatever. A random little tidbit on Pokepia. Apparently, it started off as a Nintendo Switch 1 game, and it was a spiritual successor to Let's Go, but it was canceled and now revived for the Nintendo Switch 2. With Legends ZA, some random little tidbits here. Apparently riding Pokemon was originally set to be in the game. Go-Goat was going to be the one for ground travel, and like Lucario would be one to allow you to jump between buildings.
There's an NPC early on in the game that says, "I grew up riding a goat around the city."
Yeah,
it's like clearly riding
was supposed to be a thing.
Was supposed to be in the game.
Yeah. Apparently, the original gameplay style was going to be a 4v4 Splatoon shooter style. There was images of this and everything, and I looked at that. I'm like, they were really trying to do something different. Maybe that's why the one we got is kind of half baked. Is because they had one thing already set and they had to pivot.
I'll take a half baked one over that.
Right. Game originally had a lot more detail in like the buildings not being flat, but they had to scale it back due to performance.
It's because the city is one model.
Yeah, I know. And then. I'm sorry, John. I feel like this one would have been up your alley. I think this one would have been objectively a better game. The canceled Legends game that ultimately led to ZA being a thing. Canceled Legends game of Ho-Oh and Lugia.
You know how cool this would have been if it would have been like a back in time game?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you know how cool this would have been? We could have got the storyline of the tower being burned down and seeing the original 3 Pokemon that died in the fire.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that because that's the story.
I know. Yeah. All I saw was the old Johto. I'm like, that's the story we've all wanted to play.
Yeah, no, that was so. The plan was there would have been 2 games, Ho-Oh and a Lugia game. They were going to come out last year as part of the 25th anniversary of Gold and Silver of 2024. And it was set in a time before trainers existed. It's about a story about the origin of trainers. The protagonist has fallen through time and commands Pokemon and helps revive 3 Pokemon that were burned in the tower.
Would have been a great game.
Would have been awesome.
Way better than what we got.
Would have been so cool.
I love Kalos.
Yeah,
I love the Kalos region. Much would have preferred that game.
Yep.
That is a story I would have much preferred to play through.
And we'll probably never get it now.
We won't get it.
Yeah.
If anything, it'll be like a weird mini game type thing we'll get for like phones.
Right. The next Legends game also got leaked in all this, where it's going to be going back to Galar. Apparently, the inspiration is Xenoblade Chronicles X, which, funny enough, the image that was shared from all of this leak and documents was a literal screenshot of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and someone just crudely photoshopped something from Pokemon Sword and Shield on the character. It's like, this is my idea. And this is from the official Pokemon documents. And that was the pitch. So whatever. But it takes place 1,000 years in the past, and the focus is around the creation of the first Gigantamax ball. The current projected release is 2027 or beyond. It'll be a fine... I'll have fun with it one time. I can already tell. That is all I needed to read.
I couldn't care less.
That is all I needed to read to know I'm going to have fun with this one time and probably never play it again.
That is one where you are going to have to show me something exciting looking for me to care.
Yep. Now, the one that got a lot of people excited, the one that everyone has wanted and hoped for as long as Pokemon has been a thing since the 2nd generation, really the 3rd generation. The 2nd generation did do this. And that is a MMO where you travel to multiple regions. So the idea is that you are going from Hoenn to Sinnoh. So you are focusing on all of the Japan-based regions. So starting in Hoenn, you will go to Johto, you will go to Kanto. You will also take some pivot to Katakami, which is the Teal Mask DLC location, and then go in the game in Sinnoh. And this will be an actual online game. Its current target is 2028. This sounds too good to be true, and with it being Pokemon and the Pokemon Company, my expectations are pretty low, but I'm going to play it. I'm probably going to have fun, but my expectations are very low.
Yeah.
Very low.
You give me
aggressively
that,
low.
You give me that, I will be excited to see what it is.
Yes,
correct. I will not be excited that it'll be good. I will be excited to see their interpretation of what they think we want.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because this is what people have
But
wanted.
I would play. I would even if that wasn't great. I would probably. I'd be more excited to play that than I am to keep playing ZA.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it sounds too good to be true, but we need to temper expectations. It is the Pokemon Company. They still to this day, with what we see with ZA, have proven that they will cut corners. And especially when all the leaked numbers of the game costs came out, and it's nowhere near comparison to any sort of failure AAA games, and Pokemon is the biggest IP in the world. Expectations need to be low, but it should be at least a fine experience because it's going to be cool to travel multiple regions again. Something we have not done since Gen 2, and of course the Gen 2 remakes. It's something that's never been done besides those. So it will be really cool to do that. I am looking forward to it, but it's what you just said. I'm not excited. I'm just excited to see what their interpretation is and what they're going to do with it. Next up is Gen 10. We already have the name of the games, which in the process of all of this, apparently the logos of the games got leaked on 4chan like in January. Nobody caught it. And then it got shared in the midst of all of this leakage, and it did get copyright struck. So I guess it's all legit. The games are going to be called Wind and Wave. The original rumor for a while was it was going to be set in like an archipelago over in like Greece, and apparently that was one of the regions considered, as well as like West Coast United States, Canada, Scandinavia. But ultimately the setting that we are going with is a Southeast Asia and Indonesia. So they're apparently, based on the internal documents, one thing Pokemon and Nintendo really want to do is create a setting that hasn't been done and creating an approach that hasn't been done. So like, normally we're starting off in a small town and you work your way up. In this game, you and your mom start off in a big city, a huge tourist city, and apparently you get this vacation package where you're going to this region now, and the region is very jungly, which a jungle has never been done in Pokemon. So I love nature. I love grass, wearing my shirt. So that sounds cool. I'm excited for that. There was also a lot of mechanic stuff that got leaked, like of how the waves look and stuff, actual gameplay related things, as well as diving underwater, because that will be a huge exploration element of the game, is underwater exploration. So the mechanic videos that got leaked of actual like in-engine looked pretty solid, because apparently this will be the first Pokemon game in a brand new development engine. So that's promising, at least. At least they're finally doing a new engine, Thank God for that. Apparently, the theme of the game is infinity. It is, the quote that is in the documents is play that continues infinitely, land that expands infinitely, evolution that holds infinite potential. So the idea around the game is that the game will never end, and islands of the game will continue to generate and generate over time, and no one thing will be the same. That sounds way too ambitious for Pokemon, in my opinion, but they could prove me wrong, and they could go well with it. I don't know.
Sounds like they're trying to make a mainland Pokemon game, but somebody was playing too many roguelites.
Yeah, a little bit, The idea of the game is to procedurally generate new islands, so the region is infinite and constantly changes. Survival in the jungle is going to be one of the main themes of the game. Pokemon is aiming for that big grand new setting. The island exploration, underwater exploration, and open world, there will be some slight MMO elements tied into the game to kind of set you up for the MMO, apparently. And this is, of course, set to come out next year, with DLC coming out in 2027. The evil team is a land development team that aims to destroy nature and expand land for profit. That lines up enough for Pokemon. That sounds like it works. That's fine. The new type of Pokemon in the game is going to be called a seed Pokemon. A seed Pokemon is an unevolved form. It's a Pokemon that no one has ever seen its evolved form. When it travels to an island that the legendary resides, it will evolve. Its evolved appearance is said to have infinite variations. So it's like you get one type of Pokemon that's called a seed Pokemon, and it could look 43 different designs in the game. Now, there is clarification in the documents that when this Pokemon gets transferred to home for future games or champions, it will always result back to its base form. They're not going to carry on this, whatever infinite forms it has will only be in this game. Let's see. The new gameplay mechanic is all going to be based around weather techniques. The professor of the region is researching the relationship between weather and Pokemon, which we already have weather-based stuff as it is. It's a core mechanic to like VGC and just general gameplay. We have a Pokemon that's all designed around weather with cast form, but I think diving into a full-blown mechanic could be interesting if depending on how they do
It
it.
depends on. We need to hear more about that
Yeah.
to understand what they mean by that.
It will feature gyms as well as Titan and Lord Pokemon challenges. There's going to be 18 in total, one for each type, and apparently each challenge or gym will be inspired by sustainable development goals. So some examples is like no poverty, zero hunger, good health, well-being, quality education, etc. It's just a thing in the world, thing in the life. You can just go look it up. You kind of get context there. And the game will be kind of set up like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where you could go straight to the final boss if you wanted to, but you're going to have a hell of a hard time with it. So not recommended. Like I said, brand new game engine, and they are aiming to have that mix of open world MMO to prep for the MMO. And like I said, releasing 2026, DLC 2027. It sounds really cool. I guess we'll see on Pokemon Day. We'll see in a few months the first teaser of it.
It's one where I don't particularly like the overall description they have of it there. Maybe it plays better than they describe it.
Yeah.
You would hope that it plays better than they describe it.
Right.
Nobody wants to play Pokemon because and have it like infinitely go.
Mm-hmm.
Like we play Pokemon because we like Pokemon.
Yep.
We want to go through. We want to get our badges. We want to beat the Elite Four. We want to finish out the decks, and we want to shiny hunt for a little while, and then we want to move on.
Yeah. So everything about it to me sounds too good to be true, and if with it being Pokemon, my expectations are aggressively low, But I don't know. I could be proven wrong. We'll see. I will also add, I did not include it in just the shout outs and details, but if you want to go dive into the Terra League 2 more, there's also canceled plots for Scarlet and Violet, like original plans, as well as Sword and Shield. Just kind of like original ideas, as well as original region names, like game names. Like, dude, they had names like Dino and Robo was a legit like template name for Scarlet and Violet. So there's a lot of information on other gens, as well as full-blown story details that they had written for Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. It's all fun to go read. I didn't view it enough to like go shout out in detail, but if you want to go read it, go check it out. Like I said, take everything here with a grain of salt, because everything could change based on the time frame of this leaked information was like 2022. It was anywhere from like 2021 to 2023 is all the general time range of all this information, but it's all legit because it all got copyright struck, including with receipts of that it was Nintendo that copyright struck. So it's interesting stuff. It does kind of suck to have so much of Pokemon's future leaked like this, Like I don't mind leaks for I say that, and it's like it's shitty for developers. I don't mind spoilers is the better way to put it. But like if we're gonna get something leaked, man, I don't want to see the next like 10 years worth of shit.
Yeah, I'm generally not a fan of leaks.
Yeah, it's kind of a back and forth thing. I almost didn't want to talk about it on the show, but it was so big that I felt like it needed to be talked about.
It's more where like I'm also generally not a fan of spoilers depending on it, but that's a changing topic for me depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like leaks as well as like I don't like leaks, but it's one where it's like sometimes you just like in this case you kind of just hope that like not that like I'm saying all of that's bad ideas, but you hope that that's just like concept stuff that they have that then by the time we actually see what it is going to be, it catches us by surprise.
Right,
It's
right.
different enough to where we don't know exactly what it is.
Right.
But it's like the idea of Generation 10. We all expect Generation 10 to come out next year.
Mm.
The idea of a Pokemon, an official Pokemon Company MMO, it's a cool idea. We've all wanted it for a long time.
Yep.
It's like the idea of seeing that. It's like it sucks that the reveal is going to be a little less like
exciting and
it's going to be a
shocking.
little less shocking.
Yeah.
But the excitement now is seeing what that looks like to them.
Right. Yeah. No, I can agree with all that because like I almost didn't want to put it in the show because it's like I hate how much was leaked, and it's like it's especially with just Pokemon because like the people who report on this, you know, dude, I'll say it up, and everyone watching will probably agree. They are some of the cringiest individuals on the internet, where it's like their entire being is Pokemon leaks, and it's like, dude, relax. It's a video game franchise. It's the biggest IP in the world, yes, but brother, relax. Like go pick up a new hobby. Go do something else other than Pokemon. There's other games out there that are a lot of fun. Like go there. Go get into a book series. Go get into a movie series. Go learn how to knit. Don't make your entire being Pokemon. Relax. So it's like, when all this was coming out, like if you go look at the Gamestetic Twitter, which I am always on point with retweeting and sharing any news I come across at all times. I don't think I shared any of the leaks on the Gamestetic Twitter because it's like I didn't want to. I was following it all when I was coming home the other day, and I was just like, yeah, this is. I mean, it's all cool. It's cool to hear and cool to see. It's like I don't want to share it. I don't even. I almost don't want to talk about it. But I feel obligated to an extent. So I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on the leaks? I want to know. There's a lot of stuff that came out of it.